All right, hello. Once again, I'm Mr. Arsola, and this is going to be the culture, economy, and government part of our Mexico slash Central America slash Caribbean review. So let's get at it. So first off, culture side here, we're going to talk about the art, religion, language, and music aspects of those three regions. Those three regions being Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. So first off, art. There is a massive Native American influence on Mexican, Caribbean, and Central American art, and we refer to this as folk art. And folk art is basically just the native traditions of the indigenous or Native Americans, sort of reflected in particular art pieces such as wood carvings, woven rugs, and pottery. Okay, so please know that folk art, massive folk art influence or native tradition influence in a lot of the art pieces that especially for our projects that you've probably seen. Okay, around this area of Latin America. Next, religion. Okay, so Roman Catholicism. This is like the big. This is like the major religion, and when I say major religion, I mean this is the religion with the largest amount of followers. So the most people actually practicing this religion in Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean, that is going to be Roman Catholicism. And remember that this is a branch of Christianity that was brought over to the Americas from Europe, more specifically Spain. Okay. Now the Caribbean also has a large following of spiritual Baptists. So it's kind of like a mixture of an African religion known as Yoruba. They mix that with Roman Catholicism, as well as Haitian Voodoo is also kind of a mix of African religion and Catholicism. Okay. Language. Okay, so language, remember Spanish, pretty much the predominant, pretty much every part of Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central America. They pretty much all speak Spanish, but there are a few exceptions, namely one of them being Haiti. So Haiti, again, it had massive French influence, especially because of the French colonization of Haiti. So they actually speak a form of French that is known as Haitian Creole. All right, and then Belize, remember we went over this in previous lesson videos and in class. Belize is the only Central American country that has English as its chief language. Okay, remember, Belize. Chief language is going to be English. And the easy way to remember that Belize is the only Central American country where the main language is English is going to be, Belize has two E's in its name, and all the, I believe like 7 or 6 other Central American countries, they don't have nearly as many E's in their country's name. So Belize, E, and then E, right? Just a kind of an easy way to remember that. If you're actually shown a map with those Central American countries, you know that Belize is the only English-speaking one. Okay, and finally, music. So lots of a very rich musical culture in this area for this unit. Mexico, banda, ranchera, and then mariachi music. Mariachi probably being the one that you're most familiar with. Caribbean music, so salsa and reggae tend to be the two big musical traditions from the Caribbean. And then finally, we have Central America. They have Garifuna and Punta Rock, which is, these two things are pretty much very similar to salsa reggae in that they have this sort of African, sort of like Caribbean vibe to them. Yeah, so art, religion, language, and music. So please make sure that you study these things for our CUA. Moving on to economy. Apologies for the very long economy slide here, but really, you really just need to know that the major industries here for this region or these regions are going to be oil, Mexico, so oil, sugar and bananas, especially around the areas of the Caribbean, and then coffee and cacao near the areas or in the areas of Central America. Now, you might be wondering, well, isn't this actually more like the actual name? Wouldn't it be cocoa instead of cacao? And actually kind of asked myself this question as well. And then I kind of looked into it and I noticed that I believe that cacao is actually the like unrefined or the more natural version of chocolate or cocoa. And cocoa itself, what we call cocoa, is actually the very processed version, or it's gone through some sort of like industrial food processing. So that would be the powder that we're familiar with, or the beans that we're familiar with, cocoa. Those are the processed versions of cacao. So you can think of cacao as like the more natural chocolate plant that you actually see, out in the wild. Tourism. Okay, so tourism is a massive thing all around, not just the Caribbean, but also Mexico and Central America. But really, the Caribbean is where tourism is like a massive thing, especially because of the fact that the Caribbean has a lot of islands. Okay, so remember that tourism is like, going to another country from your home country, and you're trying to enjoy yourself. Take time off of work or school, hopefully not too long from school, and you're just trying to enjoy yourself. Okay, and what better place to enjoy yourself than on a nice, cool, or warm, cool water, clear water Caribbean island? Okay, so that's why so many tourists from all around the world want to go to areas such as the Caribbean. Okay. Next, and finally, we're going to go into the government aspects for this unit. Pretty much every country around Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, it's pretty much going to be some form or another of democracy. So very much like the United States or Canada, except for Cuba. Remember, old-time cars, communism, that's going to be Cuba. All right, Cuba is not a democratic government. And then also of important note, United States territories that are in the Caribbean, we refer to these as Commonwealth, or basically countries that have their own independence, but they are technically still a territory of another country, namely the United States. For these two, it's going to be Puerto Rico and the United States Virgin Islands. The Virgin Islands are, there's a lot of Virgin Islands, and the United States doesn't actually own all of them, but the United States, I believe, owns the middle portion of the Virgin Islands. I think Britain and then France also owns some of the other islands. Okay, but what you really need to know is that the U.S. territories in the Caribbean are going to be Puerto Rico and the United States Virgin Islands. All right, and that is going to conclude our lesson review video for today. And good luck on your test this week. All right, take care.